Hello, YouTube. Deranged clown here with the stealth deranged hair. The hair may be short, but the derangement is real. Ha 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 ha. That's my Halloween throwout. Anyways, I just want to do a serious video here. Um, I'm gonna try to keep it short, um, but I am kind of long-winded, but I'll try to keep it under 10 minutes. So let me just clarify a couple of things first, and then I'll dive into it. I support immigration. I think it's the backbone of what makes America great. I just ask that it be done legally. That's all I ask. Do it legally. And if you're doing it that way, if you're going through all the proper channels and doing the paperwork, and if you're going to the border and rather than sneaking across the border, you're handing the border guards the paperwork, patiently waiting outside of the US, and then the guards go in, verify it, and then they let you in with, the documentation. Hey, you're golden. We want you here. Please come here. We need you. We need you to help build up the United States of America. Now, if you're doing it illegally, get out. Get out, go home, and do it right. And I think that's pretty much a common sentiment that a lot of people have is just do it right. Okay, just do it right. Um, I'm thinking of going to Ukraine, and rest assured, I'm going to be talking to the authorities at the embassy for Ukraine and asking them what the process is and will comply with every requirement that is demanded. Why? Because that's the honorable thing to do. But I digress. Second thing is, when I was in college, I studied communication, and that has influenced the way I view things quite extensively, actually. So I just can't help but do analyses in my head of things that I see because it's just part of having a degree in communication. So it's a partial degree. It's three majors, but one of them is communication. Okay, I've dealt with that. Um, some of you may have seen on YouTube the arrest of a person who was following ICE agents and was pulled out of her minivan, thrown onto the ground, and arrested and hauled off. Pretty compelling stuff, right? And pretty emotional. But the truth is, if you look at the context, I believe it was fully justified. The context is, yet again, some people tried to box federal law enforcement agents in. In fact, federal law enforcement had to drive their vehicle at full speed, smash the front end of a vehicle that was trying to block them in, and leave. We're not talking about the domestic terrorist that the federal judge let loose previously. We're talking about another incident. People, this is not a country falling apart overseas where we're dealing with terrorists. This is the United States of America. We're better than this. Why is that going on? It needs to end. It ends now. And law enforcement is ending it, and I fully support them. But anyways, in that context, this lady was surveilling and tailing law enforcement, federal law enforcement. She was messing with the feds. You don't mess with the feds, especially intel-wise. You're going to lose. every freaking time. I don't care how smart you think you are, the feds will win every time. Anyways, I also know from the videos of law enforcement that I've watched, law enforcement does everything they can to de escalate things, to avoid having to use force. And this lady, apparently, it doesn't show it in the video because, surprise, surprise, it only shows the most dramatic, emotional moment of the whole incident. But I would imagine this lady had ample opportunity to cooperate and avoid that. But instead, she wound up getting slammed down to the ground. And she was still in asphalt lawyer mode. Oh, you don't have a warrant. Well, if you're following law enforcement, guess what? You are going to get arrested, especially when people are trying to box agents in. And it's just, to me, it's just propaganda. It's an effort of the left to try to tug at people's heartstrings and make them say, ooh, those federal agents are monsters. But you're not getting the whole picture. You're not getting the whole story. Another incident. Reporter for WGN News was arrested. And again, it's a very edited video. It only shows her on the ground um, being handcuffed and walked away. Being frog walked is what it's called, because when you're in handcuffs, you kind of have a hard time walking, so you kind of walk like a frog. Um, and I was just watching that and I was thinking, where is the rest of the video? Again, law enforcement does not use force unless they have to. She had ample opportunity, I'm sure, to just peacefully resolve it. Um, and yet, here she is getting arrested and turning around saying, my name is so and so, and I'm with WGN News. And, you know, she's acting like she was in the movie Taken, where these thugs are dragging her off to some unknown warehouse to be, you know, beat or something. No, these are federal law enforcement agents. They're going to take her to jail. So you know where they're going to wind up: jail. Every time, jail. They are going to be given their one free phone call, which really is, it's not one phone call, it's as many phone calls as you want. And she has every opportunity to call her employer, her family, her lawyer. She has uninterrupted access to her attorney. You know, she's going to be treated humanely. She's not going to be beat. She's going to be fed. She's going to get medical care. There's no reason to act like, you know, it's the opening scene from the movie Taken. And it's just drama. And it's meant to tug at people's heartstrings. I would add to that, though, that in the 2020 riots, that members of the press were participating in physical violence against law enforcement. This was documented by law enforcement, that there were reporters physically attacking federal law enforcement agents. So, something to be thinking about. And no one is above the law. If you are wearing a vest that says press, and if you are engaged in physical violence against law enforcement, my advice to you is play nice, let them arrest you, and avoid getting thrown to the ground. So, I don't know. I think it's interesting. It's scary. If you have any comments, if you want to talk about this, I don't care where you stand on the issue. We can have a constructive, civil conversation about this and discuss ideas. So, all right.